My name is Rubina Alexander, and I'm hoping to impart some very fruitful information this morning with you guys regarding events, how to boost your business if you are in the events business, if you are thinking of getting into the event sector, how to get into it. And then also, what is very important today, we're going to look at how to monetize an event, because at the end of the day, everything that we do should have a monetary value to it, so that, like they say, you don't waste your time having an event. I want to say in advance, the information, I think this is a disclaimer. The information that I will be sharing today is not even a drop in the ocean. However, I will cover the basis. Let's start. Like I said, my name is Rubina Alexander. I like to call myself actually a jack of all trades and a master of none. And there's a reason for that. I believe in the events company sector, you must be able to do everything from start to the end. So let's look at the first topic. What is an event planning business? Now, a lot of people don't know that event actually falls under the sector of art. It's an art. Have you ever been to an event and you just feel like the decor was not on point, the flow of the event was not on point, nothing gelled at that event? You basically just went there to see props being put on whatever stage it is. So the first thing that you need to know about events is that it is an art, and it is an art that is mixed with science, planning, coordination, and operation. So what I like about events, the overall term of events is that anyone can master this art. So if you are thinking of getting into the event sector, you can get into it. Once you're into it, you can fine tune your art. Secondly, every event must have an event planner, and they are basically the key service providers who ensure that the production is executed without any hitches. Now, I don't know if any of you guys have ever hosted an event with family or friends, and there is like a lot of Indians and nobody to do the job. Everyone feels the color should be blue. This one feels the flower should be this color. So what I'm trying to say is, when it comes to event, there is one head. That is the event planner. That is the mastermind of the art, the mastermind of how things will flow. So basically, that is what events is. Events is an art, and it can be mastered, and it needs an event planner or more than one event planner. And those people are basically the key people to making sure that this production flows. Then the second basic topic, and I know this is layman's terms, we'll get into more details. What type of events do we do? Well, best believe that events are categorized. They're categorized in three main categories. So you get your social events, which we all have been to, which is a wedding, a birthday party, a festival, a networking event, or even a reunion. These are social events, meaning that the people attending the event know each other, or the people attending the event have something in common. Our second category is professional events, and this is the sector that I specialize in. This is where you get your conferences, your trade shows, your seminars, your product launches, your corporate workshops. This second sector is where most of us go into because of the monetary value that's attached to it. And then also the second sector of events or category of events is the best one so far that you can expose your business if you are not in events. So, for example, at a trade show, our last category is personal events, which is similar to the first one. Now, what is the difference between personal events and social events? Personal events is where it is your birthday party. You are organizing everything at your birthday party. So you might just have your mother that helps you or a sister that helps you. There's no business involved. Social events is when you are invited to a wedding or invited to a birthday party. So that's basically the difference. So today we are assuming that everyone in our webinar today would like to get into events or is already in events. So we're going to take it from that standpoint. And I would like to share just 10 quick steps. Some of these steps you might know, and some of the steps you might not know. So let's say you would like to get into the event sector. So the first thing or the first one that you need to know is define your niche. Now, I know they always say this in the beginning, but I am going to add a little bit. I'm going to play devil's advocate. And I would say, if you have not already established, say you say to yourself, I want to be an events company, I want to have events, and I will just specialize in weddings. You've made up your mind from the beginning, you love doing weddings, so you will then experience and build your experience up from weddings. That would be your niche. But in the beginning of any event planner's journey, you would see we touch on basically all of the sectors under events. This weekend, you might host a birthday party for a toddler. The next weekend, you have a wedding. The next weekend, you have a reunion. So you're basically sussing out which one brings you more revenue, which one doesn't have as much overheads, and which one doesn't cost you that much when it comes to your side. So after defining your niche, or before defining your niche, you would find that you will be dabbling in all of the sectors as an event planner. Secondly, conduct your market research. Now, this is very important if you would like to go into the the professional sector of events. If you would like to start hosting webinars, seminars, workshops, wellness days, all those events, or even if you just want to give your business more exposure, point number two is critical so that you can do your homework. I would say if you don't do your market research in terms of which events you want to be associated with your brand, if you would like to advertise at a certain event, or which event you would like to host, you will really, really in the future have a lot of headaches that you could have prevented by just doing your research. Now, let's break it down smaller. How do I do my research? The first thing that I always suggest is look at the area that you want to specialize in. If you are, say, from Pretoria, Johannesburg, and you would like to do just weddings in that area, go and find out how many wedding venues there are in your area, how much do they cost. The second thing is find out how many event planners are operating in the area that you are operating on. And what very important, how much are they charging? Because you cannot be operating in the same area as they are and you're undercharging yourself. Secondly, go and look at your suppliers that are in your area within a radius, because things like delivery, your suppliers will charge you for delivery fee. Those are all the research that you have to do when it comes to events. The second one, or the third one, which is create a business plan, I would replace create a business plan in terms and say create a goal setting plan. So you would then say, within the first 3 months of my events business, What do I want to achieve? What is the first quarter of my business going to look like? After the first quarter, evaluate and look what you achieved and what you did not achieve. And then before you move on to the second quarter, which is the next 3 months, look at what you can achieve and not achieve. So set goals. The main part of a business plan is goals. I also want to mention that when it comes to creating a business plan, is your target audience as an event planner, either as an event planner or as a business that you would like to advertise at an event. What is your target audience? Are you targeting youth? Do you just want to specialize in festivals for youth? Or are you targeting, best believe it, old people? They love events because they've got nothing to do. And their events mostly takes place on a Saturday morning, Wednesdays, seniors day. So they love events that happen on a Wednesday. So look at your target audience that you would like to target. Then number 4, register your business. Now, I would say I forgive all of us because I'm one of them. When I started in events planning, I just nilly-willy started. And then once you start building up experience, once you start building up a clientele or a supplier list, questions like, is your business registered? Do you have, give me your business banking details? And I'm going to make a joke. We're all South Africans. So in Uncle Cyril's economy, anything that comes into your pocket is a bonus. So in the beginning, I was not that compliant. I would just operate out of myself and use my personal bank account as my business bank account. And when I looked at the end of the day, I could not see what was business and what was personal. So point number 4, register your business with SIPs. It costs about, I think it's now 200 Rand to do it if you know how to do it online. Get your registration, register yourself on all of the event planning networks that there are out there. There's the South African Association of Events, and create or go and open a personal, professional bank account for your business. This is now a further step of compliancy that we sometimes think is not necessary, but the more you build up, the more you will need that. Excuse me. Point number 5, secure funding. Now, entities like the SME South Africa, if I understand it correctly, they help with you securing funding. But all of us do not, in the beginning, have the channels to secure funding. So your first funding would probably be your own money. What do I mean by that? If you have saved up 5,000 Rand for your events business and you want to start this business, use that capital in the beginning to purchase the necessities that you need. So if you know that you want to do birthday parties for kiddies, go and secure yourself those small chairs. Go and secure yourself the tents or anything that you need, the background, just to get your business going. As we all know in South Africa, waiting on somebody else will not get you there. So when it comes to securing funding, waiting on funding to get to you will not get you there. So by point number 5, meaning securing funding, I actually mean go and look at your own pocket in the beginning, which most of us entrepreneurs have to do, and capitalize, use every cent as far as you can go, because at the end of the day, you need a blueprint or a start point for your business, and nobody's going to give that to you. But now you can say, but Rubina, I don't have my own funding. I am really, I don't have. There's a book that I once read a few years ago. It's called Using Other People's Money. So best believe that there is somebody out there that has your funding. This can be, if you can make a loan from the bank, you can make a loan from the bank. Or if you have a really good angel investor that you know that can just give you a kickstart in your business, that can also work. The truth of the matter, and you guys will see when I come speaking about my businesses, funding is necessity. It is necessary, especially in the event sector. Step number 6, build a network or supplier list. Now, this is one of my favorite topics to speak about, or points to speak about, because I have met the most awesome suppliers and networkers in the events company. After COVID or during COVID, if you guys can remember, a lot of events were put to stop. And so after COVID, all the suppliers in all the events companies, we all had to start from scratch again. So we made everyone was your best friend because you just wanted to get a buck in. So when you start building your supplier list, if you decide to specialize in weddings, start with your flowers. Who is your flower supplier? Your decor supplier? Who is all of those things that you need to make your business, your events company, the greatest events company there is? You will then have to go and build that supplier list. Now, I will say this: building a supplier list is basically building a friendship list. You have to be very good friends with your suppliers. Don't just contact them when you have an event. Say thank you to them. Let them know, listen, I've been quiet for a while, but I'm still coming. So that they just know when you do have an event, they don't put you on the back burner and they don't deliver what you had asked for them because you're just another number to them. Number 7, develop a website, social media, and so forth. Sadly, in today's day and age, no business can run without a website and social media. While I speak under correction, there are businesses that run without websites and social media. I've seen them. But those people have worked their way to building a solid customer base and word of mouth. Word of mouth is the biggest marketing that you can get for your business. But as we are in this world, there are certain rules that we follow, and everyone will say to you, what is your social media? What is your website? Let me check you out beforehand. So these are things that you need to look at. And I found that a lot of entrepreneurs, especially in the events sector, we neglect this specific. Our pictures are outdated. We don't take pictures of upcoming events. We don't document what we do. And there might be that one customer that's quietly watching you on social media. Number 8, understanding event legal requirements. Now, I can't wait for the questions because I think a lot of questions will come from this one. This is when you are in the big game. This is when you have clients, corporate clients, and these corporate clients will ask you for compliancy. So as I spoke about, I said you need a business account, you need your business must be registered. That's only the drop in becoming a legal event planner. Legal requirements when it comes to big events include things like your public liability. For those who don't know what public liability is, it is an insurance that you take out on your events company that basically says that you are covered in case somebody gets injured or whatever the case may be when it comes to your event. I'll make you an example for myself. I had done an event. I'm based in Cape Town. And sadly, the weather is really, really bad in Cape Town in the winter. And I had to cancel or postpone my event. Now, by that time, I had already worked out my budget. I'd already done what I had to do with the funding that came in. But because I had public liability, one of the things that they cover is a postponement of an event. So what they will do under this insurance, because you pay insurance basically, you can pay it monthly or once off, they will then refund. Say, for example, you have sold tickets, they will refund your ticket sales out of your insurance. And that is such a big relief because as an event planner, as we all know, ticket sales is one of our main um, ways of capitalizing on an event. So that's just one of the things. Public liability, your permits that you need, food permits if you have trucks, tent sign offs, stage sign offs, and then also at events, as we know, safety and security. You have to go to the metro and all of those legislations that you need. Those are your first and very important legal requirements that you would need if you step into the corporate industry. And best believe, even if you're just hosting a workshop, public liability, permit, and safety of the event is so, so important. You don't know who's attending your event. That person might have high blood pressure and they faint at your event and they die, God forbid. But you must have that when it comes to events. And then also, number 9, start small and scale up. Well, I would also say start medium. This event sector is so competitive. So if you have done your research properly, you can start from medium. And what I mean from medium, all your ducks is in a row. So you can gun 3, 4 clients at one stage and learn from them and grow. Starting small for me is like starting in a garage with 5 people attending your event. Start hosting medium events, which is from your 50 and above. And that's where you start scaling up. And last but not least, continuously improve your skills. There is these free platforms, Udemy, YouTube, other event planners, where you can improve and see how the event sector is just a broad game that everyone can join. It just depends on how smart you are, and it just depends on how savvy you are and how you are willing to go out there. I will not stay long on this slide because most of it is self-explanatory. What are the 5 steps for a successful event? So, whether it is a birthday party or corporate event or any other event, there are 5 critical steps that make this event a success. Number 1, concept and objective. Concept, you would probably build a mood board, visualize the event before it starts, what you want to achieve or what your client wants to achieve. Objectives in events are, would you like people to maybe come to the next event, support you to the next event, or most of the objectives at events nowadays is the customer to business relationship. So the business wants the customer to buy a product from them. Point number 2, budgeting and funding. Budgeting and funding, I will say this, and I'm willing for anyone to ask me about this. This is a whole chapter on its own. Without having this budgeting and funding in the right, counting every penny, your event will not be a success. Venue selection and setup. Now, guys, I have learned from the best when it comes to venue. First and foremost, my tip that I would like to give is always try to use unconventional spaces when it comes to venues. What I mean by that is spaces that are just as wow, but not as wow in budget form. Big venues will charge you ridiculous amounts where you can have a similar venue in size and you just drape it and make it look very, very nice. Promotion and marketing, this is when you monetize your event. And I will speak later on this because I hope that there are some people here who want to monetize themselves, who want to get funding, who want to make a business out of this. Execution and evaluation. So always a debriefing at the end. What can you do better for the next event? Now we come to the fun part. How do I make money from events? That's basically what I'm going to speak about. How do I make a living? How do I put my business out there if I have another business? What do I do just so that this can be a lucrative income for myself? The first one is ticket sales. Now, if you are not hosting a wedding or a birthday party, a social event, and you're hosting a corporate event, This is the first rule for every event planner. And if you are an event planner or would like to go and become an event planner, you never ever host a free event. Doesn't matter who is there, your events must never, ever, ever be free. Your ticket sales can be as low as 40 Rand, which I've had in the past, or as high as 1,000 Rand. You have ticket sales is your first channel of income and your strongest channel of income. Now, I will break it down quickly for you. You can have early bird ticket sales where you basically ask double the price because people don't, or not double the price, I can say double less. So all the early birds come in. You can have late ticket sales, which is double the price, or you can have ticket sales at the door, which can also qualify as a late ticket. So when it comes to your ticket sales, there is no rule. As long as whoever is coming to your event pays to be there, there is a first stream of income. The second string of monetizing your event is sponsorships and partnerships. Now, guys, I'm going to be honest with you guys. In the beginning, big sponsors, they are very reluctant to just pay money into anyone's bank account. But what they will do is they will give you a BATM, a rail handle. So they would say to you, we are willing to pay your venue directly. That is basically an amount on your budgeting that you save on. So anything in form of partnerships, whether it be a free drink, whether if they can pay for your marketing, whether they can pay for your VIP members that you have, you necessarily don't have to receive the money into your pocket from your sponsorships, but as long as they cover certain areas on your floor, which you then use as a stream of income to your day visitors or your guests, they would still have to pay for it. So they don't have to know that how much your sponsorships paid for it or how much they gave to you. There is a very close relationship between your sponsorships and your partnerships. What happens is over years, the partnerships, they trust you so much that they would be and say, okay, last time we paid for the venue directly, but this time we don't mind paying you that X amount of money because we know you. Selling merchandise, we've seen this at a lot of events. I want to make an example. I hope we can see this is a cup, plastic cups. If you're having a festival, you don't want people to hit each other with cups. Sell plastic cups. So tell them in your ticket sales, no glass will be allowed, and you sell your cups, t-shirts, whatever it may be, as small as it is, put a price tag on it. I cannot express this anymore because these funds that you make from this is basically your springboard for your next event. Offer premium experiences. We've seen that a lot of premium experiences, VIP, VVIP, meet and greet. As much as you can break it down, you break it down and everything paid for. Other forms of monetizing your events is food and beverage sales. I always have food at my events because we know people are hungry, and that is your food vendors. What just happens is when it comes to the legal part of it, as we said, you have to be complacent and compliant. They must have their certification and try as best as you can to have on board food vendors, not food vendors that just woke up yesterday, because food poisoning and all of that is a reality. And even though you might have public liability which covers your event, you also don't want to cash into your public liability policy for small things that could have been prevented. Advertising, guys, it is a big one. You will be surprised. I will share with you guys. I do, one of the things that I do is I do expos for babies and mummies. I make so much money by people just putting their flyers in my goodie bag. A flyer, I charge them to put flyers in my goodie bag because the clients that they get from there is long-term clients that will go to them over and over again, and they pay you just one time. So any form of advertising, if a partner wants you to have their logo on your poster, if they want to maybe have their own VIP lounge, if they want to do branding on the floor, if they want to display a product that's totally not even related to your event, but they want to display it, you make them pay for it. Exhibitor stands, just as much as businesses want to get in touch with the customer to business, there are small entrepreneurs that would love to just have a small table, just to Sally just wants to sell her cupcakes. You charge her per square meter. And then celebrity appearances, as we know, influencers is a big thing in South Africa as well. They also in a business. So if they appear at your event, make sure that they're going to charge you to be at your event. So you also have to charge. So basically, if you can just quickly go back to the slide, I just want to close it off quickly. So basically, to everyone in this webinar, events is a very good way of generating income if you know how to do it. If you are smart about it, and if you work at every single corner of your event, you will definitely make an income from it. You will definitely sustain your business with your income, and you will definitely build relationships that will take you to the next level. I would like to share with you who I am and what I have done. So, I have been in the event sector for just over 5, 6 years, which somebody would say that is not long, but it feels like a lifetime. And I've learned a few tricks of the trade that I would like to share with you this morning. As you can see on your screen, there are two logos on the screen. There's a reason for this. In the beginning, when you start dealing with corporate companies, the one thing that they always ask is, do you have a reference? Have you done whatever, any reference? Because they're reluctant to just take on any event planner that doesn't have a portfolio. So I became smart about it. And what I did is I registered 2 companies. As we know in South Africa, there is no limit to how many companies you can register. So my first company is Kwai Events. Kwai Events is my head. Mummy and Me is a production of Kwai Events. So when I give a proposal in to any company and I tell them that I would like to do your events, they ask me, do you have a reference? And then I say yes, and my reference is myself. But I do not lie in terms of saying my reference is myself. I mean in terms of what I've done. So I have a portfolio, I have an event assistant, I use all of that. So I have learned in South Africa, you cannot wait for somebody to give you a job. You cannot wait for somebody to give you a gig. You cannot wait for somebody to become a client of yours. You have to be smart and you have to create your own events, your own opportunities. And so basically what you guys are seeing in front of you is my 2 companies who are productions of each other. So Mummy and Me is a production of Kwai Events. And what you see in front of you is a typical expo in an unconventional space. I selected these pictures specifically in what we spoke about. So the first thing that I discovered as an event expo event planner, is that there are a lot of overheads that are sometimes not necessary. One of them is shell seams and also the venue that you use. So when you look at this venue, this is in a mall, one of the biggest malls in Cape Town. It's called Tiger Valley Mall. They have a 30 by 40 meters ground floor exhibit. So at the bottom of the mall, as we all know, um, they have the space that is open there. Now, I want to say a 30 by 40, if you go and get a, say, in Johannesburg, Gallagher Estate, 30 by 40 square meter, they would charge you just over 100 and something thousand rand. However, if you go to, for example, malls, they have exactly the same space that you need. However, they charge you so much less than what you would have paid in a bigger carpety aircon venue, if I can put it like that. So already in your budget, you are cutting a lot. So this is a 30 by 40 square meter space. We were able to fit in 70 by 2, 2 by 2s and 3 by 3 stand spaces. That is a lot, guys. And you can go and calculate it. If you have 72 by 2s and you charge each one of them 2,000 Rand, there is a big chunk of your budget that's coming in. When we spoke about monetization, as you can see, branding, Prega Omega is one of our friends, Old Mutual is one of our friends, Portia M is one of our friends, they Curo Schools head office is one of our friends. And so what happens for each and every banner that you see here on the floor, they paid for that banner, and that's monetizing your event as well. Mummy and Me focuses on, it's like focusing on introducing the mother to brands that she would not find in Discam or in Clicks or in any of those shops. Those bespoke, however, as we all know, Portia M you can find in the shops, but why would they come on the floor? Once again, each and every business would like to have a direct connection with their customers. So that is why they would prefer to come and have a stand on our floor instead of just their clients going to Clicks. So if you have any questions, I'm trying to just put everything in such a small nutshell. Like I say, what I'm sharing today is just a drop in the ocean. I can't wait to hear the questions. This is just a typical example of how you can use an unconventional space and monetize it to the best of your ability. Thank you so much. That is the end of my presentation. And I just want to say thank you to SME South Africa for allowing me the opportunity to speak to you today.